When my clients are getting close to retirement, we're putting those last few pieces together. Their priorities for their money are pretty straightforward. They want it to grow. They don't want to run out. They want to be able to access it whenever they wish, and they don't want any risk. So no problem, except for the markets, inflation, interest rates, world events, maybe poor investor behavior. So how do you guard against some of these outside stressors on your plan to make sure that you have a comfortable lifestyle in retirement? Well, one way to do that is to build a flooring strategy. Years ago, I was studying architectural design, and actually I was a draftsman for several years. So to me, there are a lot of comparisons that are appropriate between building a building and building a retirement income plan. You've got to build a solid floor if you're going to put any other levels on top of that. You really don't know how high your ceiling can be until you know how strong your floor is going to be. Once you start putting these pieces in place on top of a solid floor, you can get a pretty good idea of what your plan might look like and if it suits your dreams and goals. So let's look at an example of a flooring strategy. Here we have a couple that would like to have $4,000 a month for basic income needs. So that's, again, paying the bills, property taxes, utilities, healthcare, food, gasoline, going out to dinner every now and then, just the kind of the comfortable basic lifestyle that you want to ensure no matter what happens. So to do that, you need some pretty solid planks in that floor. Here are some examples, not all appropriate for everybody. This is where you need to work with a financial professional that's skilled in building retirement income plans to hopefully make sure that your plan fits you. So for the examples, bonds tend to be often less volatile than some other investments. Quite often, some bond investments pay a dividend, a fairly predictable dividend. There are annuity contracts out there that, if suitable, could pay you an income for life. So if there's longevity in your family, it helps protect against running out of money. Many of you are lucky to have, or some of you are lucky to have pension plans that from a company or a government to give you another source of predictable income. And then, of course, for many of us, most of us, there's Social Security. Now, while none of these are absolute guaranteed dollar streams, there is way more predictability and way less volatility in these types of planks than in others. So that's a way to look at building the floor. Try and take at least as much risk out of that predictable needed income as possible. Once you've built the floor, then you got to look at the next level. Now we're getting into the fun stuff, the discretionary income, the extra travel, other lifestyle choices. Maybe you can afford to pay for that wedding for your kids that you always wished you could. These are kind of things that my clients have actually mentioned to me. That's where these come from. To monitor that extra level, if you will, it takes a couple things. You got to watch it pretty regularly, and you also have to watch your behavior. So that's where we look at market volatility. Let's say you have a couple of good years. Maybe those are the years where you take out a little extra money and put it on the side and protect it for those years that aren't so good, the underperforming years. So your behavior and the monitoring really go a long way in creating a successful plan, both in building the floor and then hopefully supplying some of those extras that really make for a rewarding retirement life. In the next video, I'm going to be talking about another strategy that many of you are pretty familiar with, and that's the bucket strategy, to where you actually have short, mid, and long-term money. We'll talk about that the next time. In the meantime, thanks for watching.